I feel like we're like at the point where it's like I feel like I'm like required to take down the Trae Young jersey. But it's like it's the off season. I feel like I should be able to get this off, right? Especially when the WNBA starts, because this is going right back up when the dream starts. But that's not here and there. But for now, I will reluctantly take the Hawks jersey down. Just know I don't want to do it. I don't want to do it, but I'll do it reluctantly. I think there's a ghost in my house. Like that door just magically opened, but that's not here or there. I feel like Cody Rhodes when I get on here now. Like, what do you want to talk about? Like, you feel me? Like, where do y'all want to take this off season in particular? Because every year that we do this, whether it's here on Nets Republic or whether it was on my main channel back in the day, I feel like there was always like this, I don't know, there always seems like there's a moment where it's like there's a list of stuff I'm supposed to talk about, but then random stuff happens and we get off topic. So I will attempt to keep some form and semblance of order this offseason. I believe we run into 3 years consecutively as far as offseason goes where I haven't talked about the new statement jerseys. So we'll try to be more organized this year. I'm not expecting much drama, just because we don't have drama queen stars anymore. But, you know, stranger things have happened. Stranger things have happened. Now, since we last talked, things didn't go so well for the Hawks. Since we last talked, the New York Knicks got their teeth kicked in game one by the Miami Heat. The Milwaukee Bucks have fired what's-his-face, Mike Budenholzer or whatever, so expect an incoming TMZ DUI from him coming up pretty soon, but that's not here nor there. I believe Nick Nurse got fired. Like, there's a lot of crazy stuff going on, and notice how with the majority of the little news bites I just threw out there, we were speaking on coaches and coaching changes. Well, as you see by today's video, we are doing another dose of accountability. That's normally the first thing that we do when we go into a NBA offseason while covering the Brooklyn Nets. We speak about accountability. Now, normally it's Joe Harris we start with, but, you know, I figured what better place to start than good old Jacque Vaughn. There have been reports saying that Jacque Vaughn has let go a seismic number of individuals who were on the coaching staff. From your Tiago Splinters to your Igors to, you know, fan favorites like that. They have all, for the most part, been let go in a corporate axe swing headed by Jacque Vaughn, because Jacque Vaughn wants to put in his own people. I would just like to start by saying, my G, what are you referring to by putting in your own people? Because I believe this man has forgotten where he's come from. This man was an assistant coach under 2 different administrations. Dare I say 3, I believe 2. Kenny Atkinson and Steve Nash. You were an assistant coach under 2 different administrations with the Brooklyn Nets. So you did not fire a previous cabinet, if you will. You fired your coworkers. You fired your dudes. Your friends, your brothers, your associates. You fired your peers. And the fact that Jacque Vaughn is just getting carte blanche to go, and I know I said that wrong, but I'm going to keep going. You can go ahead and save that comment. I know I said it wrong. It's just getting a hall pass to fire everyone and bring in his own dudes. But you just fired your own dudes. Who's he bringing in? His brother? His cousin them? Like, who are you bringing in? And the idea that we're going to hit the Dylan Brooks button on the other assistant coaches and not himself is deplorable. I got on here on multiple points during the end of this season, and especially in the playoffs, where I accused this man, Jacque Vaughn, of being worse than Steve Nash. Now, as you know, that is the most insulting thing I can say about another human being, period, much less the coach. And trust me, I watched Derek Fisher coach. I saw Kurt Rambis coach. I saw Jeff Hornacek coach more than a few times. I done seen some trash. We all just sat through the Steve Nash experiment. Like, we done seen some trash together. But Jacque Vaughn is a different breed. When he got out there in the Sixers series and had the exact same game plan 3 games in a row, and then the only adjustment was Joel Embiid's not there for game 4, and you don't have them attack the paint, you still have them throwing up, oh God, I'm getting flashbacks already. I don't even want to go back into this. Like, I'm still like quietly like going through therapy to get over that series. There's no Joel Embiid, and you encourage them to take more 3-pointers and not attack the rim. I don't think I'm ever going to be okay. I'm going to keep it that with you. I don't think I'm ever going to be okay. But the fact that this man puts it upon himself to say that it's time to do spring cleaning, it's time to do house cleaning, and individuals who, let's keep it a bean, aren't the ones, pushing the final buttons. They get scapegoated. Again, they get the Dylan Brooks special. That's insanity to me. And during the exit interview, well, I can tell you right now, I have not seen all of it. I'm waiting to really get into it when we have the Sean Marks conversation, which might be next week. I was thinking about doing it this week, but I think we got to make that next week. From the little bit I've seen so far, I'm hearing a severe lack of accountability on the part of Mr. Jacque Vaughn. Like, what's the explanation with Cam Thomas? This is turning into the Kennedy Carter saga all over again. What is Cam Thomas doing in practice to warrant him not playing? I'm trying to know the truth. I'm trying to see what's going on. I'm trying to put the pieces together. Detective Sever is on the case. I'm trying to figure it out just like y'all. But the fact that he can get up there and say, oh, we gave it our best shot. We put our best foot forward. We got to tell our story. We got to write. I'm telling you, this whole thing is just giving Cody Rhodes. It's giving Cody Rhodes. You got to write your own story. The conclusion is up to you. I'm going to go to WrestleMania, beat Roman Reigns, and finish my story. We're going to finish Joel Embiid. I will tell you, it's the same thing. I wouldn't be surprised if old Vinnie Mac, you feel me, is underneath the Sean Marks mask. Because it's a little too similar. And it's a little too shady. I want accountability. Go out there and say I messed up. Remember when LeBron played trash in game 5 or 6 or whatever, and he got out there and said, I am playing my best. I got to do better. That's the kind of stuff I look for, especially in an organization that does nothing but point the fingers, but wouldn't dare for a minute acknowledge their wrongdoing. They have fumbled the bag countless times over the last 4 years. And have the nerve to blame everyone else but them. You want an example? I got an example for you. Classic example. Kyrie Irving and everything that went down with that. We can absolutely pen a good bit of the shenanigans on that man. Saying when he recovered from the ankle injury, which Giannis purposefully injured that man. That is factual, but that's neither here nor there. When he came back, didn't get vaccinated, sabotaged the entire season, cost us Harden, all that stuff. But the fact that the Nets organization had their little stance, of we're going to send him home, and even though he can only play the away games, we won't have him play any games, only to 2 months later beg him to come back. Then he gives the team COVID. Then when everyone recovers, he's a part-time player, so he can only play the away games. And we do that song and dance over and over again. Harden gets pissed off and leaves. Kevin Durant comes back. It's not quite enough. We get swept by the Celtics. There wasn't not one time of Sean Marks getting on there and saying, you know, we handled the Kyrie situation wrong. We should have traded him. You feel me? No accountability whatsoever. They just sat there and they did their little like media narrative web spinning stuff, where they waited all summer and said, oh, we want to change the culture. We want people who are going to be available. We want to get blah, blah, this, blah, blah, blah. Again, instead of just saying, we mishandled that, we should have either traded him or had him be part-time from the beginning. No accountability on their end. They took it into the following season, the one we just had, where we saw Kyrie depart from us and go to the Mavericks. Does Sean Marks and them get on camera and say this didn't go the way we wanted it to go? We could have negotiated better. We could have found or done what I said and traded him in the beginning of the year. Or traded him the year prior. We could have been traded for Ben Simmons. We could have been traded for Ben Simmons. Still had Harden. Ben takes whatever time he needs to rest and recuperate. We get to the playoffs. We still have a James Harden and Kevin Durant. You add Ben Simmons just in time for the playoffs. I mean, who knows what world we're in? But instead of acknowledging a mistake, they sit there and blast Kyrie and say, oh, he's this, oh, he's this, oh, he's that, oh, he's that. You know, just pointing the fingers instead of accountability. I might be jumping the gun a little bit, but how many summers have we gotten on here and said, how many times are we just going to let Joe Harris come up with bricks in big moments? When are they going to come out as an organization and say, you know what, we gave the bag to the wrong one. We're giving $78 million to a bum that can't do his singular job when it matters the most in the playoffs. This man goes Avatar Aang and disappears. But they'll never do that. They'll never do that. They'll point the finger at something else. There was no owning up to the questionable decision of hiring Steve Nash in the first place. It's just more finger pointing. Oh, the personalities he had to deal with. Oh, the superstars were running the team. He didn't have a chance. It was just time for a change and blah, blah, blah. Instead of owning up and saying, you know, maybe that was the wrong choice. And we're seeing the same thing once again with Jacque Vaughn. This man poops himself, basically, metaphorically poops himself in the playoffs. And instead of Jacques or Sean saying, you know, this didn't go the way we wanted, no accountability. They chalk it up to, we got to continue to push the culture, the Brooklyn way, all that shenanigans. Oh, Jacque Vaughn basically had a brand new team at the trade deadline. How is he going to make it work? Instead of, again, acknowledging mistakes. Yeah, you might have had a brand new starting lineup, but who put them in the starting lineup? Who put Royce O'Neal back on the bench when he was starting? Who took Watanabe out of the rotation? Who banished Cam Thomas to the island of misfit toys? Who took Sumner out the game and we never saw him again? Man's had a baby and we never saw him again. That was Jacque Vaughn. He made the decision to have an entirely new team. He made the decision to dwindle down the rotation to 7 people. He made that choice. Have some accountability. It's nasty stuff out here, y'all. It's nasty stuff, and they're doing it again. In front of our faces, they're doing it again. They are going to try and pass this season off as, what do you expect from us? We had a brand new team when they decided to implement these changes. Only 2 people left. Only 2 people left. And we're not counting Morris and... God, was Paul Millsap this year or last year? I can't even remember anymore, but you know what I mean. Only 2 people left! No, 3. Warren. 4. Warren. TJ Warren. But TJ Warren didn't play anyway. And Markieff Morris didn't play anyway. So only 2 people left. But that's that on that. Let me know your thoughts on this shenanigans down below. Jacque Vaughn is clearing the deck and bringing in some of his own people because that's the coaching change we need. More assistants for Jacque Vaughn that he's handpicking. That's what we need. Not a new coach entirely. But hey, shout out to Milwaukee making changes, you know, shout out to the Raptors for making choices, not wanting to die in mediocrity land. Shout out to individuals who are trying. Though I do think they did Mike Budenholzer dirty. It's not his fault that he has got a mid-big 3. A center that can't move laterally. I know y'all don't like when I talk trash about Brook Lopez, but let's keep it Thaui. And he had to go head-to-head with Eric Spoelstra. I don't think that's a fireable offense. But at least they're doing something drastically because they don't want to be mid. The Nets, on the other hand, we love it. We love it. There's going to be a bunch of 11s next year for 11 years in Brooklyn. That's going to be the real push. Not having a competent team. Just going to sell some more t-shirts. You know what I mean? Have Sarah Kustok mark out for it. You feel me? Just more mediocrity. We're not actually going to change anything, but, you know. It is what it is. Let me know your thoughts down below. Your homie Sever the Bond. You're on Nets Republic. That's a Harden jersey. That's the Karras jersey. I will see y'all next week to discuss the next facet in the exit interviews and such. Because this is going to be a whole saga. There's so much content in these exit interviews. It's going to be a whole saga. I'll see you next week.